the SPY and QQQ is at like big time resistance.
Yeah.
And if we look at crypto, let's look at crypto
Yeah.
for a
Crypto.
bit. Like if I'm going to take off some of the lines just it's cleaner. So it seems like this is Bitcoin here. This is
Yeah.
the weekly chart. The weekly just closed. That's not too great. Like,
It's a little
and
bearish.
this seems kind of like a potential double top.
It could
like,
be. We're in this rising wedge
you know,
channel
like
still. We could
like a
keep chopping
potential
around too, but
yeah, and there's this like trend line which we've been bouncing on since like the start of the uptrend.
yeah.
And so we'll have to track and see when we get a pullback whether it's gonna like bounce on this trend line or not. Like if it loses this big trend line, then we're definitely gonna like pull back way more, like probably retest. Like I see like support around here, right? Like if you lose this and then there's some support here, but like if you lose this region, then we're definitely gonna like then the next one is actually where the strength band of the trading buddy is. And this, if it loses, then like it's gonna fall like
there's
like it's gonna probably like flip red, and then we're gonna like I don't know 20K, 18K around there. Like it needs to bounce around here to make a higher low or a double bottom, which is like an equal low before we then form a base. So I mean, so it looks like we're in this like rising wedge, which is not bullish. It's actually kind of bearish, like this rising wedge with like volume going down.
Yeah,
that's kind of bearish.
A little divergence there.
So,
and we just saw the DXY gaining strength, and like we're saying that is generally going to move in inverse with equities. And like I said, I consider cryptocurrencies as part of that equities umbrella. Because
exactly,
especially because in the last few weeks here, we got some more clarity on how do we classify cryptocurrencies. So anyone who's
so what's the update on that with the whole XRP?
Yeah, so anyone who's been following like the crypto markets, maybe not even that closely, anyone who's been following the crypto markets like tentatively, just like as a hobbyist possibly even, you would have probably been aware that there's a lot of like fear in the markets at the moment that is rooted in the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission's assessment or assertment rather, that they have basically stated that it's likely that any crypto assets sold on exchanges in the United States that aren't Ethereum or Bitcoin constitute unregistered securities, and that trading those assets on these brokerage sites could be considered as unregulated securities trading, and therefore a form of securities fraud. And that these big institutions are committing committing securities trading issues. So in the last few weeks, we got some clarity on this topic, because clarity has really been the thing missing here in the crypto market when it comes to defining our asset class, defining our, how do we categorize this? Is it a security? Is it an equity? Is it property? And we've all been asking these questions in the crypto space for literally years, and the legislation authorities behind making those things clear have really been dragging their feet on like giving us that clarity. It really has affected the ability of cryptocurrency centric businesses to operate within the United States, because how are you going to do that if you're potentially committing securities fraud? And how do you even know if you're committing securities fraud if there is no clear definition of what is and what is not a security? And so this last week, there has been about a 2-year-old lawsuit against the Ripple Foundation for the token is XRP. And they have alleged that Ripple, the foundation, is committing securities fraud by selling XRP tokens to institutional investors and to retail investors through these cryptocurrency brokers such as like Coinbase or the like. And so this last week, a judge in New York finally released a ruling on this suit, and that ruling in effect says that no, cryptocurrency assets, specifically XRP, but by extension, other crypto assets as well, that are traded on public exchanges for retail investors. And that's, you and me trading on Coinbase or on Gemini or like Kraken, like these exchanges where we can make an account, link our bank account, and buy these crypto assets. What the SEC has said is those trading, that format of trading, is not constitute security trading, and therefore is not unregistered security, and therefore is not, a security fraud issue. However,
That's really cool.
that's huge news.
Yeah.
Like very nice clarity for the crypto market, and that's that's really good news for crypto tokens that aren't necessarily XRP, because it means like, oh, all these other coins, like, you have a bunch of different crypto assets at this point, out in circulation, like thousands, maybe even millions, who knows. But it's saying that by default, just on the merit of them being crypto assets and being traded and offered to the public through these exchanges, that does not define them or default them into being securities. And therefore the SEC doesn't actually have jurisdiction over that. And so all this like stuff they've been doing, they can back off with, because it's not their jurisdiction. And that's really, really positive. But at the same time, the ruling also said that the Ripple Foundation's actions of selling XRP tokens on an institutional level did in fact constitute an unregistered security sale. And so there is still very much weight and merit to the lawsuit that is still ongoing. Obviously, this is a ruling within a bigger suit. And, Ripple is still on the hook for, committing, and now it's been effectively confirmed they have committed securities fraud by trading and offering these assets to institutional players. But it really is a nice step forward in giving us clarity as retail traders here in these crypto markets that no, not all these tokens are securities. And that is great. That's like, it's not the clarity we need to like move the markets forward long term. And I mean, you can see it right now in the Bitcoin chart. We did get like a little bit of a big candle up there, but immediately kind of sold off again, back, kind of came down to earth as the markets, realized, this isn't like the end all be all statement. This is also, again, it's one ruling in this ongoing case. Very likely that the SEC is going to appeal the ruling as well. Look for a higher court can still overturn this, but it is definitely a win for retail investors, for anybody who's been trading crypto tokens that aren't just Bitcoin or Ethereum. Is now basically kind of been confirmed, at least by one of the judges at a lower level court in the United States, that has set legal precedent saying not everything traded on these exchanges is defaulting into the securities category. Which that on its own is a huge development and very, very positive news. But also, kind of metered. This market is more mature these days. It's not enough to get like an announcement like this. Like 5 years ago would have seen like 100% bump in the crypto price, whereas today we saw like a 5.
But yeah, exactly. And also we're still in a bear market.
Yeah.
I think, even though we're having sort of, if it follows the same cycle, like the next bull market should start right around the next Bitcoin halving, which is scheduled to happen next year.
Yeah, around
so I
April.
think around April. And so what we're saying is like, at least like going back to the chart, we might, we just trade the chart, right? Like we don't care, like like whether it's.
I'm positive that we can find bad news on a red day and good news on a green day. So
that's right. Yeah. Exactly. So like so we don't really, as traders, we don't like trade the news. We trade the chart, and looking at the chart, the DXY might bounce. Like so, we might have a pullback. What's important to see is like when we do have a pullback, whether Bitcoin is going to stay in this trend line.
Yeah, where do we find support? And
where do we find support? Exactly.
Yeah.
And if we lose this, then we're going to go even further down.
Mm-hmm.
And so like all we're doing is like just playing the short term like trend. And then until the actual bull market starts, it's very easy to see for us when to see the actual bull market when it starts, because all
Yeah.
we need to do is like change the Bitcoin chart to the monthly chart,
Yeah.
and you can see all we have to do is like just wait for a bull
Yeah.
signal on the monthly. I mean, and then it's like any dip that we get is just, again, it's going back to what we said. You just keep buying the dip.
Yeah.
Once
Exactly.
it's a bull trend on the monthly, just keep buying
Buying
the dip
buying the
until
dips.
it flips
Great.
bear, and then so like you can see it's worked like every time. So that's what we're really waiting for
Yeah, and
to
the monthly chart really shows how this rising wedge is basically the price
yeah.
retesting the strength band very, very clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We can see it. So like, it might lose it now, or we can grind up some more and
yeah.
then lose it. Uh, or we break up. Like that'll be like
It could flip,
really bullish
and then
if
we
we
get the
like,
bull. Yeah, the
yeah,
bull could be
and
early,
then
but what's I
but
want
but until
confirmation.
then, yeah, exactly. So until then, we're just playing these like sort of like short term retests and dumps. Like that's what we're doing. We're just like
Yeah,
playing like the weekly like ups and downs that's what we're doing.
yeah, and we
And
have
then we switch
gotten
it to the
a
daily. Yeah.
flip on the weekly here into bull, and that does kind of give me a little bit more of a like maybe buy the dip is like coming back onto the menu. But just like Sid said, with crypto specifically, it's a much less mature market than equities, like than like the stock market for damn sure, and so it is also really a good practice to like zoom out, take a look at the general trend long term. So the monthly chart is definitely going to be like a great indication for us to basically re-put buy the dip on the menu. And of course, when we do get that first
Yeah.
bull print on the monthly, I'll start like buying the dip, and then once we start hitting that trend line, the green, which will then be green, bull,
Yeah.
the strength band there. That's where I would then, on top of buying the dip, maybe like actually open some longer term positions that are intended to ride out the entire bull market cycle,
Right.
or at least intended to be sold near the top of the bull market. Fingers
Right.
crossed.